Welcome back to Insights with PT. It's your girl Tammy, and we've been recapping on the life story of the man that God helped. And that man is
PT.
And I'm also here with our lovely co-host,
Lanray.
and we've been diving into audience questions that have been sent in from our viewers, basically just asking PT some questions. So we're going to get right back into it. All right, so one of the questions from our audience states, you mentioned that one of the most challenging periods of your life was the passing of your uncle, Antenna, who showed you great kindness. How did you maintain compassion and assist those who previously disregarded or opposed you, but now seek your help?
I've said this before, that when you look at the summary of your life and you look at where you're coming from and see where you are, and you can always say that this is God's grace. This is God that has helped me to be here. The issue or the question I ask is that, why fight? When you acknowledge that you didn't bring yourself so far, and that it's God that brought you so far, then it means that it's not so much of your expertise or your goodness that brought you to where you are. So you attribute all the glory to God. There's nothing else to prove. So if someone comes in and their children or their child asks me for help, it's not that difficult for me to do it, because I know that the help they're asking for, it was God that made it possible for me to be in that position to give it. So I give it. And I think it's the greatest revenge, if you want to use that word, that you can use for any adversary when they come back to ask you for help. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because asking you for help in itself is humbling. It's very humbling. So why would I want to humiliate them? Do you understand? So why don't you just, thank God and then do what you have to do and move on?
And so, in the process of building the church, you faced many opposition, even from allies.
I'm still facing.
Now, which is great, because now the question is, how did you manage, or how are you managing these challenges without becoming discouraged? And how do you keep the congregation and everyone motivated despite all the adversities?
I have seen God many times in action. It doesn't mean that I know all about God. No. But I can sit here and tell you many stories of how God has helped us to rise out of the ashes. And I told you I study patterns. And when I study the pattern and I see it at work, I have no doubt that that pattern is going to continue. It's not only bad things that are patterned. Good things also can be patterned. Do you understand? Let me give you a good example. There have been occasions when people have left the church. At times, people that are closer to me, or close to me rather. I've realized that those periods are periods that God uses to grow the church. So I don't pray for anyone not to go now. I'm just praying for whoever wants to go. Because I've seen it. I've seen the pattern. There was a time in this church that we set up 3 churches at the same time. Within 3 months, we set up 3 churches and 200 people left this church. 200. I can tell you today, and records are there to confirm, that the only time that we felt that was that month that they left. After that, it was as if nobody left. Because how God replaced them with more than 200 other people, I don't know. How God replaced and increased our finances, I don't know. I'm telling you the truth. Do you understand? I was looking at our finances about 2 months ago, and I realized that the income we had for a whole year 3 years ago is what we had for 6 months for this year. And it's not as if people have not left the church. For those that left, is their loss. Many people are coming in. I need to focus on those who are coming in than those who have left. I'm telling you, there's a reason God brought them. Listen, God will not take a sheep to a shepherd who will not be able to see them. Do you understand what I'm saying? You know, the ones who have left, they have become another shepherd's burden. I don't need to care about them again, no. It's those who are coming in. Let me be their burden. You know, let them be my burden rather. Let me look after them. Let me see what I can do to help them. Do you understand what I'm saying? You know, and some people have even confirmed it many times. You know, church is very interesting. People leave church and they assume because they left, there's nobody else in the church. Mm-hmm. So, once in a while they come back, maybe for somebody's Thanksgiving. They say, Pastor, look at the church. It has grown. I said, because you left, you think it will not grow. You must have overvalued yourself. Oh. I'm telling you. When you came initially, did you not meet people here? When you came, did you not meet people here? How many people started this church? 7 or 11 of us started this church. So what are you talking about? This is God's church. Even when I leave, the church will continue to grow. Look, there are more believers now than there were when Jesus was here. That's when the Son of God himself was here on earth. Oh. There are more believers now. He's the one who said, I will be my church and the gates of hell shall not prevail. Do you understand? So I made up my mind a long time ago to be emotionally stable. So I don't allow my emotions to go with anyone that decides to go. If you decide to go, it's okay. I'm not emotionally, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. That's the way the churches are made. People come in, people go out. The only prayer you pray is that God, let more people come in than those who are going out. That's okay.
That's facts. That's facts. You know, Pastor, I don't know if anyone has ever asked you this, but what would you say would be your highs and lows of being a pastor? And then also, what's your favorite part about being a pastor?
My favorite part of being a pastor, right?
Yes, favorite part. And then also, if you like, you know, your highs and lows as well as being a pastor.
Let me tell you one thing. Because we deal with people, there will always be highs and lows. Because people are just people. Do you understand what I'm saying? And you have to have an understanding of the humanity such that you don't let what people do affect your walk with God. Do you understand what I'm saying? If anybody has disappointed me, it's people. If anybody has encouraged me, it's people. So how do you manage the two? It's the love of God that you used to manage the two. You know, some of the highest for me points, especially the first, was when we first finished, you know, this building, the first part of this building. It was so high because nobody thought we could do it. It was also so high because no member of the denomination that we were in then, no church had done what we did. You do understand? To buy this much acreage and then build, is not so. It was a high point. The low points at times could be when people try to diminish what you have done. Do you understand? You know, and I know that part of that could be due to jealousy and, just people just hating. You understand? But I don't let it affect me like that. Honestly, I know what God has done, and I know where He has brought us from. Do you understand? So I just don't. You can hate all you want. That's your problem. Honestly, yeah. Then for people that walk with me or around me or in church, most times I remember when people come into church. A lot of times I remember, especially for those who are very active in church and all that. So when I see them and their lives turn around, that's motivation for me. That's motivation for me. Do you understand? So I know it is possible to start at a very low point, but I also know that after a while, when you begin to see those people, we have one or two ministers here in this church that when they joined this church, they were in college. They were in college. Your auntie was in college when they joined this church. Today she's married. Today she has children who are teenagers. Today she has a good job. Today she has business. And I look at her. I say, this is a good story. The problem is that people don't look at good stories a lot. They're just looking for bad stories. There are a lot of good stories all around us. A lot of good stories. When somebody comes into a church at 22, and then they say, oh, Pastor, I'm celebrating my 50th birthday. And I say, 50 what? They say 50th birthday. I say, what happened? They say, what happened? Like I said, 50, Pastor, I'm 50. I said, you're 50? It's a thing of joy. Do you understand? Which means that this person has been around for 28 years in the church. But just like the world is looking for bad news, and we are not celebrating enough good news. Do you understand? When we go out there and we do outreach, when I look at the faces of the people that come for outreach, based on what we give them, my heart is filled with joy. Because I'm saying, God, my God, you have been so good to us. Because what we are counting as nothing is what they are counting as, this is a lot. This will take us 1 week to feed the family. And you guys have done it. For me, those are the kind of things, the devil, if I may say this, has done a good job of using people to tell bad stories more about the church than the good. And that's where we all come in. Myself, yourselves, everybody. Tell good stories about the church. Tell good stories about the church. Because there is a lot of good stories to go around. I'm telling you the truth.
As always, it's your girl Tammy.
It is signing out.
And our lovely co-host. And it has been an amazing 2025, and we'll see you all next time.
Yeah, bigger and better.
Bigger and better. I like that.